Bannister Dairy in our currently chilly southwest. I'm sitting inside the award-winning creamery with our partners Matt and Sue Daubney. With many of the awards Bannister Dairy has won for its dairy products. Matt, Chairman of Bannister Dairy, and Sue, CEO, would you like to just show us some of the amazing national awards that which you've had for best cream and best milk?
This one is probably our most recent and remarkable achievement, is the fresh milk that we've just managed to achieve nationally. Really pleased with that one.
Can you hold it up a little bit so the camera can enjoy it too? Yep. Okay. Sue?
Our very favourite one at the moment is winning the Grand Champion of all at the Australian Grand Dairy Awards.
Fantastic. Yep. Well done, both of you. Okay. These awards have been made possible by lowering the stress on cows, foremost in this creamery, dependent on reliable electricity so that the cows can be milked whenever they feel most comfortable, even if it's 4 times a day. Matt, you've been a farmer at Bannister for you and your family for 3 generations. Your generation number 3. Do you think that the government and the bureaucrats understand farming and agriculture?
I think we've got a lot to educate some people on. We've had a big disconnect that we always talk about in agriculture between regional and city people. I think our bigger concern is the disconnect between regional and government. It's really concerning at the moment.
Gosh, well said. So often family farms are held for generations. And yours, of course, has already been. Do you see that younger people will be able to remain in this industry and continue to operate into the future?
I think we see from our children like they really want to be a part of it, but it's going to be very tough.
Has already been. Matt, what do you think are the worst government actions that are hurting farmers?
Right now, it's the onerous amount of tape that you have to endure just to get a product from cows, to get it processed, to get it to market. We've got a lot of roadblocks along the way that you need to overcome. We don't call them roadblocks as much as bumps in the road, because we overcome them every day. So we're learning, but those are the sort of things that just you need to be able to streamline your business so you can get to market quickly. We have a fresh product. It's 24 hours. That's all we have. We can't afford to be sitting on the tarmac at an airport waiting to take a product overseas, things like that. Hours are important in this business.
Would you like to give a few more examples of some of the tape that is making it more and more difficult for farmers?
Some of the accountability that you need to offer to organisations, and it's not only the onerous of offering that; it's the time it takes to complete those tasks. We operate in agriculture. We are very mindful of the cost of food. We are currently in considered a cost of living crisis. We can't afford to have additional cost added to our products. So when you want to get a product to here or to overseas or to the northwest even, it's really, really difficult if you have to be held up because you're waiting for documentation or you're waiting for someone to tick a box so you can get that moving. It's important it happens straight away.
Very, very understandable. And I think you or your wife were mentioning to me that just recently you had to take about a week, in fact even bring your daughter back from Perth, to help you do a new lot of forms to do with genders and the changes in how you've employed different genders in the last year or so. Do you want to comment on those things?
You said earlier I'm the 3rd generation. I'm really looking forward to trying to get the 4th one part of this. The 4th generation come home to help. We need a lot of assistance on the farm. We don't need someone sitting in an office having to fill out paperwork that largely doesn't add any value to our business, and I don't think generally to Australia adds a great deal either.
Totally agree, yeah. So what impact do you see government TAPE and government policies are having on your fellow farmers and the suppliers and the rural community?
We're finding more and more that suppliers, fellow farmers, everyone's just finding it hard in business, and they're literally waiting for somebody to pay them so they can pay the next person. And there's not much room for error. The margins are so low already. We certainly are not in a position to carry additional burdens, especially some of the upcoming ones that we've been told we might are faced with.
Mm-hmm. Did you mention to me something about suppliers that you've known for decades? 3 of them in the last 2 weeks have had to become yet another record business failure.
Yeah, they've just closed their doors because basically they cannot afford to cover the costs, and this is increasing superannuation on top of increasing cost for labour, and a whole lot of increasing costs without any increased return.
Matt, in regards to farming equipment and machinery, could you afford to even buy different machinery, electric machinery, if it exists, to achieve net zero?
I think it's a long, long way off before we can rely on an electric vehicle of any sort, let alone a tractor or even a header or something like that if you're in harvesting. I mean, I look at our business as a dairy farm. We operate 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. We don't have time to charge a vehicle or rely on that sort of equipment. I couldn't imagine what it's like in a wheat belt sense where you're growing crops, where productivity and efficiency is absolutely critical. And timing is what farming is all about. When you turn that key, you have to go, and you've got countless hours in front of you that you cannot be interrupted by pausing or stopping for charging, or let alone the amount of sheer volume of energy that's required to run those sorts of machines. And then that's if they even exist to cater for that job.
That's a very important point. I meant these big 1 million plus harvesters, they just don't make them, with so that you can charge them by electricity. I know with trucks, we looked at it up north, you basically have to put a third of the load over to a big battery, expensive battery. So trying to put this through farming equipment, I think it's going to be very, very hard. And that's why so many types of farming equipment aren't suitable for turning into electricity driven.
Yeah, and if you have a productive system, you need energy to run that. It's almost terrifying, some of the things that we've been signed up for that we have to try to achieve as farmers, and then to be told that you have to do this with your hands tied behind your back because you've got to have access to good machinery that's reliable and functions and runs every day.
So how would your suppliers feel about having to buy electric vehicles, electric trucks, to be able to meet with net zero?
I just don't think many of them will be able to do it, basically because the margins are that low. This equipment, due to it still being in development, if it's even available, is more expensive. And it just doesn't have the same efficiencies. As Matt mentioned, you've got to be charging. That's where a charge is available. How much time do you have to stop and charge? And it's absolutely critical timing all the way through all of everyone's business to be efficient. And it's like a step backwards to go back to such slow, inefficient, unreliable equipment. I don't see how business is going to make it work.
So you have several farmhouses around your farm. Have you thought of turning them into these so-called renewables? Have you had any experience with that?
Yes, we have done it in one house, and it was about a $60,000 investment. And that was with a 10-year warranty, and it was going to last and save us. I think it was okay for about 12 months, and then after that, batteries failed, cells in batteries failed. It was unreliable, and it was just a waste of money.
60,000 is a lot.
Absolutely. And if we did that on every house, we'd be looking at 600,000. So who can carry that for something that doesn't work?
Matt, you have around 70 staff here. How would they feel about having to buy electric vehicles to get them to and fro, perhaps do something around the farm as well? And how would it work as far as charging these vehicles when I understand the nearest charging station is a bit of a distance away and there's only one of them?
Yeah, one charger between 70 employees that work with us. I mean, there's probably more likely to be a line at the charger than there is at work to help us get these jobs done. So it's just inconceivable that the system can run, especially in regional Australia where you have so limited amount of resources like a charging station. I mean, it's a 20-kilometre round trip just from my farm to go to the nearest charger. So
one charger.
To share.
Share with other farms and...
Yeah, so I don't think there's unless there's some serious changes, I can't see how we can operate in that sort of environment.
And even for your employees, I'm sure that there'd be many of them who'd struggle to have to be forced to buy an electric vehicle.
Yeah, and along with that is service and technology that comes with that, and it's probably a list of complications that are probably quite a bit longer than what we need to discuss right now. But like that would be challenging if we had to move to that sort of system.
Sue, how important is reliable energy to the creamery, and what would happen if you had to change the whole creamery into so-called renewables?
One thing we've learnt very much in the last 20 years is energy being reliable is absolutely critical. The few times that we have had a power outage because our backup system hasn't stood up, the disruption continues for almost a week because you have some of the technical equipment, it loses its position and we have to reset it. And of course, being in a regional area, it's very specialised. So we don't get to fix that quickly, and the disruption can go for several days until we get back on our feet, and that's just for a half-hour power disruption. The impact is huge. It's critical that power is reliable.
And I guess you need refrigeration, of course, for your milk products. And if you don't have that, perhaps cleaning out the vats would take another X number of days.
Yes, we have got 100 kilowatts of solar here, and that's nowhere near enough to even keep the cool rooms running. And if the cool rooms fail, if we don't have our mains power supply, then we have a whole lot of rotten milk, which nobody wants to know anything about.
Yeah, can't sell that one.
No.
Okay. Thank you very much, Matt, and thank you too, Sue. Well, we have just heard the truth from real farmers, long-term farmers, about what renewables mean to the dairy industry in particular. Bye for now from the cows and me at Bannister Dairy.